Hello and welcome to another episode of Good Brews Bad Views. I am your host, Max the Storwitch, and as always, joined by my co-host, one James Thorpe.
Hola.
And one Ryan Everart.
Hello.
And a returning guest, one
Claire
Higmire.
Hey, look at those levels. Look at those levels, everyone.
Yep. Well, welcome back, Claire.
Thanks. I'm really excited to be back.
Good. We're going to have some fun.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes. But before we get into that fun, if this is your first time joining the podcast, welcome.
Brace for impact.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
This is a doozy.
Yeah, welcome back. How this podcast works is we're going to watch a bad movie, and we're going to do some commentary track to it, some jokes, some anecdotes, some interesting observations about this film and how it's aged and whatnot. Podcasts are designed to be watched alongside the movie, but you don't have to. But that's kind of what we're trying to go for here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll judge you if you don't.
Yes. And so, but this episode is very, very special. As this episode is literally 2 years in the making, Claire, why don't you tell us about what we're watching today?
So, back when Max and I first talked about this podcast in its early days of inception, I was going for a theme where I wanted every episode to be some sort of alliteration for movie and type of beer. So my first plan was Cider and The Cell. Unfortunately, I didn't bring cider, but we are watching The Cell with some really great 2000s Jenny from the Block, which I'm really excited to talk about.
Yes, I've been looking forward to the scathing jokes that are going to come from
Oh,
You guys are
just
going to find me
wait.
dead on a hill defending this movie.
I mean, I'm going to defend it too, but I'm still going to make fun of it.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
Yeah, what we do here.
That's our duty.
Yeah, but I'm also really excited to be here, not still sick from bronchitis as well. So I'm
that's good.
hoping that when I go back and listen to this episode, I won't sound like a 50-year-old asthmatic man. But, you know, jury's still out.
So you have non-chitis?
Yeah, non-chitis.
Yeah.
It's just,
So,
again,
Claire,
it's going to turn him off.
You've answered all of our guest questions, but
Apparently,
you told us earlier this evening you have an update
Yes.
to the question of first bad movie you saw in a theater.
Yes. So I went back and double-checked the dates after my boyfriend kind of called me out on it. My original answer was Bulletproof Monk with Sean William Scott. But I went back and checked, and the first horrible movie I remember seeing and actually paying for in theaters was actually a year before and was Master of Disguise.
Oh,
with Dana
Pistachio
Carvey.
Disguisey with Dana Carvey?
Yes.
I actually haven't
yeah.
seen it.
What?
I haven't
Okay,
seen
and
it.
I learned also from Dave that apparently the Too Turtly for the Turtle Club scene
Yeah.
was filmed on 9/11.
Oh,
So-
I have heard that. I have heard that.
wow.
And that's probably my favorite story. I mean, not because it's funny, but just because
Just
it's
what a coincidence.
like the horrible coincidence, and
Jesus
that movie was
Christ.
so terrible.
Mhm.
Oof.
Wow, that's
Woof,
interesting.
indeed.
That's-
Yes, interesting addition.
Yeah. Way to update that one.
So
Yeah.
even if you don't like the movie, you learned something today, and you're welcome for that.
Yep, we're here to educate and entertain. So, speaking of which, let's get on with this.
All right.
So we were watching The Cell on Amazon. We were about 12 seconds in to the Amazon rental. The angular little film strip on the New Line Cinema logo has just, landed on there. So, anything you guys want to add before we get on to this magical, masochistic mystery tour?
I'm
Strap in.
ready to roll
Yep. All right. If you're watching along, hit play.
now.
So, as well as talking about a bad movie today, we also have a bunch of tasty beers brought to us by Claire. Claire, what have you brought for us to start off with?
Well, the first one we've busted into is from Ascension Brewing. It is called Once You Go Black, and it is a black orange Gose, and it's pretty tasty.
It's
Yep.
amazing.
Ascension is solid.
Yep.
Side note: I'm really glad that this horse got a second job as the terrifying horse statue outside of the Denver airport.
This opening makes me feel like we've been tricked into watching The Mummy.
Oh, God. The return of Stephen Summers on the podcast.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm.
So I for this movie, well, just quickly remarking on the quality of the Amazon just conversion of this, it's garbage. Like this movie, everything looks smeared.
Even like the text on Vincent
Everything
D'onofrio's
is
name there.
real bad. Claire,
Ooh,
now you
Amazon,
just watched
very
this.
boo.
Yeah,
on
I
Google.
recommend that if you feel like watching it, you can rent it from Google Play Movies. They were running a special when I watched it. You can get a high definition movie for 99 cents, and it looked 1,000,000% better than this.
Yeah, this is real bad.
Mm-hmm.
So this opening scene for me, when I saw this in the theater, it very
Wait,
much
you saw this in the theater?
Yeah, it very much put me in a place of what the hell is going on in this movie. I mean, very early on, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't really remember seeing a lot of trailers for this before going to see it.
Yeah, it does disorient you pretty
So-
immediately,
and-
which is good.
So
And-
the director of this movie is one Tarsum Singh,
Right.
who is
From Immortals.
Yes, from Immortals, from The Fall, and also known for being a music video director. He directed REM's "Losing My Religion," which I think he won an award for.
Yeah.
So he has a very, very distinct style. Like there's a lot of shots in this that I recognized from The Fall, and also the way he does makeup, where he blends animalistic and humanoid features.
Yeah.
We'll
The
get
o-
into that later.
The only other thing I've seen from him was Immortals with Henry Cavill.
I like that movie.
Yeah, it's a fun movie for sure.
It's a good popcorn film.
Yeah,
And it makes very good use of the brass bowl.
Yo.
Dude, that was brutal. But I very much like the music in this movie. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah. It
Like,
really
it
does.
really
Then
unsettles.
It
The
will
Howard
crescendo into
Shore?
screeches every once in a
just
while.
how
which-
discordant it can be.
Yeah, I think it's also the instrumentation.
Right.
Tarsum Singh is Indian, and there's a lot of Eastern sounds, like Eastern instrumentation in this, which
Right.
you don't generally hear a lot as as Western viewers or listeners. So and here we have very young Edgar Wright and Jenny from the Block.
Also, it's not fair. This movie came out in 2000, and Jennifer Lopez looks exactly the same.
Oh yeah, she's one of those people.
It makes me irrationally
It's just,
angry.
it's just they age like vampires and that they don't.
Yeah.
Boat.
There's Pennywise hiding out of frame there.
Yeah.
Hey there, Jenny.
It's actually so we were just talking about her Jennifer Lopez's dialogue being very quiet. That's actually one of the easier spots to hear her.
Yeah, it is.
Maki Lock.
I think because there's just the music cuts
Yeah.
out for this scene.
Yeah, just weird little reverb effects on the audio.
Yeah. I mean, the first time I saw this movie, I was way too young to be seeing this movie.
Oh, same.
Probably.
Yeah, it was
But I
fucking hell.
saw it back
It's
when
alarming.
like UPN in Detroit, like the Metro Detroit area, used to show like real movies like Saturdays and Sunday
Yeah, horror
mornings,
movies
but
in
they
the
were the
Saturday afternoon.
heavily edited for TV versions.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched it the first time then, and I don't something about it really resonated with me. And I had some of those, like remember the stick-on earrings that look like little jewels.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch of those, but I had some that were shaped like squares. So I'd walk around with one like on my hand, like Jennifer Lopez has in this movie, and like think I was really cool.
Mm-hmm. I think you're dreaming or whatever.
I don't know. I was not a normal kid. I mean, I'm not a normal adult either, but I definitely was not a normal kid.
Gotcha. So going back to this beer, Ascension, this is the chocolate orange Gose. What do you guys think of it? Because we've had a couple Goses on here. Some good, some not good. What's your guys' consensus on this? They're drinking the beer. They're getting fresh taste on their palate. They're considering it. They're making tasty mouth noises.
I am just above middle of the road on this. It's good, but I'm not getting as much character as I'd usually like to pull out of a sour to really make me excited about it.
I think
it's
just because
good.
it's dark. It's harder to do darker sours
Yeah.
correctly. I mean, Jolly Pumpkin does a really good job, but I think unless that's your style that you're known for, it's difficult to pull off.
James does not like dry pumpkin beers by the cat noises he was making.
Well, James can eat it.
Oh,
Eat
fine.
it. Eat it. Eat it.
I wish there was more orange in this, but it does go so where I want it to.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Hey!
So apparently they got the muscle armor from Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula on loan.
Was that pre or post The Cell?
Oh, that's like 1993. It's got a very, very young and obviously terrible actor like Keanu Reeves in it.
Mm.
But it's still one of my favorite depictions of the Dracula story.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say Interview with a Vampire?
No.
No.
Sorry,
So
I
that's also
wasn't listening. What did you actually say?
Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Bram Stoker's. Okay.
Yeah.
starring Keanu Reeves, Winona Ryder, Anthony Hopkins,
Apparently, I'm
Gary
in my
Oldman.
own world.
I mean,
Is
you
that
can
Tony
tell.
Stark's house?
Yes.
Yeah,
You can tell this is a futuristic computer lab because it has red keyboards.
red
Red
keyboard
means future.
and a brutalist architecture.
I really want that guy in the background to be Jeffrey Tambor.
That'd be great.
He's a stunt double.
No touching.
No touching. I thought that chick was Catherine Zeta-Jones for a moment.
So did my friend Jamie, who was watching this with
Yeah.
us.
It's not, but I was like, it
She
could be.
really wanted it to be Catherine Zeta-Jones.
And that guy with the slick back gray hair is like a combination of Robert De Niro and Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
This movie is full of
Yeah, I can
people
see
who
that.
They
look
have a lot of
other
like
people.
off-brand
Yeah.
actors.
I just watched the episode of Community where Abed keeps hiring just celebrity.
Oh my god, I
lookalikes. It was
love
good.
that episode. He like, gets so much in debt that they have to
Yeah,
go be
right.
celebrity impersonators at the party.
Right.
Oh, that's a good episode.
Yep. And the African American woman in this scene looks like a discount CCH pounder.
Mm.
Yeah, very out of focus.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Tambor.
She's so quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just supposed to imply that she's a soft-spoken person.
Yeah.
Well, she's supposed to be like a therapist, so there's therapists
Yeah.
who are known for having the very calm, quiet
She's
kind of
not
voice.
True.
a therapist, Max. She's a social
Dr.
worker.
Connors
Social
from
worker,
Spider-Man and
yeah.
Maguire.
They
Sorry.
very much hit
They
on that.
very
fact.
much
Like all the
emphasize
therapists were
fact.
stupid.
I
Didn't
thought that
work.
she was just like the youngest therapist.
No, she was a
No.
social
Oh.
worker because she
Yep.
actually well, we'll get there.
Okay,
But she's a social
okay.
worker, not a therapist.
Did
to
you
make
even
that
watch this
abundantly
movie,
clear.
Max?
Are we now in a void contest with that turtle?
Hmm.
Well, we're in the road from 7,
Yeah.
where he drops off the box.
Yeah. Well, interesting that you mentioned that because this movie was criticized for being for its depictions of very masochistic scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And this came out right around the time that 7 did, which 7 had a lot of just like really kind of like messed up imagery in the movie.
I mean,
Not
in
to the
my
extent that
opinion,
this did.
7 is more has more messed up imagery than this one does because I think to me
Well, that one
it's
is
more realistic. In
Yeah,
7.
this one is
Yeah.
all fantastical.
This one is fantastical. And I mean, psychological thriller is probably my absolute favorite genre of movie,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I think even with this movie's shortcomings, I still love it so
Oh,
much.
I love it. I love this movie.
So to speak to that, Max and I had never seen this movie coming into this episode.
Correct.
Newbies.
I had known this movie existed for a long
Welcome
time,
to
but I'd never actually watched it. Never got around to like, and I knew the plot was so like
Yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, J-Lo goes into the mind of a serial killer. So that's basically the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert, jeez.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, only a psychopath would match those colors of neutral and also wear a wallet chain. So
It
we
was
are
the-
led to believe he
This
is
was
bad
filmed in the
immediately.
90s. Filmed in
Right.
the 90s.
So he's holding his crotch there, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's implied he gets off on this.
Yeah.
That's not implied.
Yeah.
They
No.
show it happening.
It's
Yeah.
fairly explicitly
code.
shown.
Yep.
What I want to know is why they never just like track down extreme water usage to like try and find him.
Yeah.
He's in a rural area where they would use extreme water usage for watering
Irrigation. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That very much looks like Catherine Zeta-Jones
yeah.
in that shot.
She's Catherine Beta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
But so we briefly got the first glimpse of Vincent D'onofrio, and I've never seen him that skinny.
no.
No.
Like
no.
I've seen him like in his first, I think one of his first roles in Blood of Heroes, aka Salute of the Jugger, which is like some weird post-apocalyptic sports movie where he still kind of has like that heavy set kind of frame,
Yeah.
but he looks very, very different in this one. I don't know if it's maybe he looks more heavy set in the dream sequences. So I don't know if maybe they had him lose a lot of weight or something like that. But
it's not quite Christian Bale Machinist, but
no,
Oh, jeez.
which he filmed right after or right before
Batman.
Batman Begins.
yeah.
Just like dropped 80 pounds
Mhm.
or put on 80 pounds. Either way, 80 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like a can of tuna and an apple a day, I think was the diet.
Yeah, it's like
The
peaches
cigarettes.
and
Cigarettes and-
peaches and cardio.
Yeah.
Cigarettes and regret.
It was like cigarettes.
That's the
and
Tom
apples,
Waits
was what
diet.
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say cigarettes and regret is probably the name of my memoir.
they-
Really a missed opportunity to interject some in living color jokes here.
Yes.
I do like this dialogue because I think it's interesting for them to actually bring in a little bit of actual social work and child psychology into a movie, as opposed to just being like pseudoscience and just
Well,
kind
we
of.
get a bunch of that later.
Well, yes, I mean that comes later, but you know, yeah,
Does this count as failing the Bechdel test if they are having a conversation about a small child boy? Still technically talking about a male.
Well, I don't know. It depends. If you ask Republican Party, maybe because he's a man. No, he's only a boy, but he's white, so no, he's still a child.
Oh God.
Careful, Max.
you know,
Different podcast. But yes.
We'll
I
talk
know you're
about
trying
that
to be
episode 50.
facetious. Maybe were you trying to be facetious, or were you actually
Yeah.
that legit? Okay.
I mean, a little bit of both.
A little bit.
Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say that's,
I asked the question to be facetious, and I started thinking about
No,
it
you
in a
started, I was
serious
gonna say, I
manner.
started thinking about it. Like that's actually an interesting question from that.
Because no one's talking about whether they want to sleep with him. Like
Well,
they're talking about
they're
helping
talking
him.
about the profession, so I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I think it does.
Because like obviously there's other scenes in the movie that make it pass, but I
Right,
was just
right.
curious about that specific scene. What you guys thought of it? Now that I initially asked it as a joke and then thought about it. I don't think
For
social
a
workers
quick
are
second,
supposed to
I thought
smoke
she was
weed.
looking at porn at the beginning of the scene.
Yeah, well, it has kind of like the porn background music for a minute.
Yeah, she looked like she wasn't wearing any pants, or there's high waisted
there's
panties.
underpants.
Yeah.
Excuse
Also,
me
now
while
it's
I
like
shut down.
it's the magic disappearing joint because she walked to the fridge with a joint. Now there is no joint.
Yeah. This whole scene is just weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
In a movie of weird.
In a movie of
scenes,
weird, this
Yeah.
is
This is somehow
extra
weirdest.
out of place.
Yeah.
And then we have the milk, or I thought it's not milk, it's
Right.
bleach.
Yeah.
But
Vincent D'onofrio plays this role very well.
He does.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Like at first when they said he was in here, I was like, "Where is he?" And then I finally got a good shot of his face and was like, "Oh, that's him."
that's
Oh,
him.
him.
Yeah.
And here we have Fantastic Planet, classic 1970s French sci-fi movie. Wish I was watching this instead of this. I
I mean, arguably just as weird as the movie.
Oh no! Not arguing it's weird. Maybe
Yeah.
it's good weird.
Yeah.
It's got a good soundtrack too. Well, this does as well. I'm torn.
Torn. This is a cool transition.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
I mean, it's a little played out, but they do it very well in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie has some good cuts. I'm down with some of these.
Yeah.
There's-
Good transitions. This is how you do dissolve cuts, John DeHart.
But
There is one cut coming soon that I really don't like, but outside of that, I like pretty much every other cut in this movie.
yeah, I have mixed feelings because like some of like the cuts and the transitions and the effects are so good, but so many times it feels like how many special effects can we cram into this 3-second portion of this movie, and
Yeah.
the answer is all of them.
See,
Well-
like all of that build-up music
To a seagull.
gets me on edge. I know,
Yeah.
but it's very effective, I think.
Yeah.
I do like this think dialogue part though, and
Mhm.
it's kind of like echoey.
Thinky
Yeah.
time.
Thinky time.
It's a more
Oh,
artistic
fucking hell.
or it's more like artistic inception kind of thing with like the going into each other's minds and stuff like that.
Also, it's no wonder she can't fall asleep because who sleeps with their pillows all stacked up like that? She's sleeping sitting up.
Social workers,
I
apparently.
disagree.
Yeah.
See, this
Yeah,
is him
It was all.
very obviously getting off on it.
Yes.
Like the-
Yeah. For some reason, I thought his arms were much more extended,
Hmm.
but now I obviously see that they are not.
It's just Tuesday.
Yep.
Man, that dog has seen some shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that poor dog.
Valentine.
Yep. From what we see in this movie, a well-trained dog.
Oh,
Yes.
the most well-trained dog, as we will get to later, where I will discuss how I will most definitely be kidnapped.
Yeah.
That's the cut I don't like, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, the jizz train?
Yeah, like
Riding on the jizz train.
it's just like in a movie that's trying to be artistic with
It's
its
kind of a
cuts,
funny cut.
that cut. You're just like, oh, really?
It's this movie is strangely Lynchian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, this movie is hard to pin down, because he has his own point of view, but he's also emulating a lot of other really famous dark directors
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in the cuts and how they're framed. But then he throws in his own little flavor, so it's like you're never really sure what kind of movie you're watching.
Man,
which I'm
that-
sure
So
is kind
that's
of the
Dean
point.
Norris, last seen
Yeah.
in Starship Troopers, as the man with very big shoulders.
In this movie, he looks like he's not leaving the room until he sells you a timeshare.
Mm-hmm.
I do
And
like
he's gonna
that
talk with a super heavy Southern accent.
the the cops in this movie are all like cops that have been typecast as cops, except Vince Vaughn.
Right.
Like, this was still during his "I'm going to try to be a serious actor"
A body.
phase.
I actually think this
Dead.
is the first movie I saw
Wrapped
him
in
in.
plastic.
Yeah.
It's what's for dinner.
Well, this is exactly how Twin Peaks starts. A
Yeah.
body dead wrapped in plastic.
But
The
straight
FBI
up,
shows up.
her eyelashes looked amazing.
Yeah.
She's dead. She's soaked in bleach. Girl, those eyelashes.
Yep. Yep.
That guy
Gordon
is
Ramsay?
one of those faces. I've seen him in other stuff, but I can't pin him.
I don't know
I
the
think
other
you're strong enough to
guy's
take him.
name. I'm just calling him Mustache Man.
So Vince Vaughn's character's name in this movie is Peter.
Kyle
Is it-
MacLachlan, he is not.
Isn't his name also Peter in Dodgeball?
Yes.
Yes.
So I like to imagine they're in the same universe, and he retired from police work because it was too
Right,
dark.
decided
and
to open up
started
a-
a gym.
Average
Turtle
Joe's.
Gym.
Average shows.
With Steve the Pirate. With the incomparable Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yar,
Well, what do I do with all this treasure?
Peter.
Near-term sugar futures, age 11 cents.
Madness, I say. Madness!
Who is the serial killer in No Country for Old Men? The actor.
Javier Bardem.
Yes.
Yes.
He looks like a proto Javier Bardem.
Yes,
Same
he does.
hair.
Oh,
just
yeah, okay.
lighter,
Yeah.
similar kind of frame and shaped face.
I just noticed in this version they still have the cigarette burns in the upper right corner.
Yeah.
Ding.
So this is like straight up the 2000 movie version.
Right.
God, that suit. Good Lord.
The ties.
So
He looks like
manager
lost
for
in
Major
time.
League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he's the manager for Major League.
Another thing I re-noticed while rewatching, I was like, wait,
That's a great movie.
Mhm.
it is.
It's almost like he's going to take a deep breath and say, "Welcome to Jurassic Park."
Yeah.
But again, in a prospector accent.
Right. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
He just kept the dinosaurs around long enough to have a park.
Please keep
Right.
your arms and legs inside the vehicle, or they will be battered and fried.
Wait, Ryan, what
Colonel
was that
Hammond?
game you were showing us? That Dinosaur Frontier or whatever?
Oh
The
yeah,
VR
Yeah.
game?
yeah. It's amazing. It's so fun.
Oregon Trail plus dinosaurs, pretty much.
Oh, I'm into
yeah,
that.
it's resource management plus dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. Those are balls.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Table 1. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that table 4 is just ...
Yeah.
Put name here later.
Yeah. At all.
Say it in English, Doc.
I do like that he didn't actually say that though. What did he?
He said, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Something of melanosis?
Hypomelanosis.
Hypomelanosis, yeah. Also, 2 for 2 on GBBV podcast episodes with Zeiss brand microscopes.
I use a Zeiss brand microscope at work.
I used
Fun
to.
fact.
Checks in the mail, Claire.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Zeiss.
Man, if I had Zeiss money, I wouldn't have to have a job.
Those walls, though,
That's
they
so
look like
funny.
they're delicious.
They ain't cheap.
Lime bricks.
Okay, so this scene, like, I always get
Bad camera work.
angry at girls who make it easy to be kidnapped. If I was in this situation, I would 100% fall for this and also be kidnapped.
She's sensible because you saw her like pull out a taser or mace or something.
Mace.
there.
It's mace.
Yeah,
Bear mace.
So it's like she's like
she's protecting herself.
she's protecting herself.
Yeah.
But
See, she has made a huge mistake though, in that so she could still be kidnapped while driving that car because it is so small.
Yeah.
You
So
can
we could just
pick
so
up
we
the
just
car.
pick up the car and walk off
Stuff it
with
in a satchel and run away.
This is subcompact.
I mean, this is a truly devious plot by
Oh,
Carl.
yeah.
yeah.
And I like how you can just barely see the brick.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Behind the
then-
wheel?
Yeah, until
Yeah.
like she kind of sees it when
Then
she,
then with the
yeah.
episode, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, it looks like Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, it does at that scene.
I actually like how this is shot, the abduction itself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
I like how chill the dog
the
is.
dog just watching it is like the most disturbing part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because to me, at least for me, the dog looks conflicted. He's like, well, clearly this is bad, but I'm also doing what I'm supposed to do. Electric toothbrush hums, according to the subtitles.
But I guess like I had seen this movie and Seven really close together for the first time, and then I hadn't watched them in a long time, and I kept thinking because of how good that scene was that it was in Seven.
Oh, okay.
So I would like think of that scene and be like, "Oh, that's from Seven," and then I rewatched Seven, and the scene wasn't in there, and I was like, "There's no way I imagined that scene. Like that's dark even for me."
Yeah.
Some poor guy is going to have to clean that up, Peter.
Mm.
He spit it into the coffee cup.
Somebody has to clean up a spitty coffee cup now.
Yeah, okay.
Womp.
We brought these random sheriffs in.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how they knew it was a German Shepherd though, because they only had unless they didn't have time to do PCR in any of that hair as a scientist. First of all,
So, quick
It's-
aside, PCR, fill us in.
polymerase chain reaction, how you make a little bit of DNA go to a lot of bit of DNA.
Oh.
And therefore can figure out kind of what it is. But even then, they'd all be the same canine DNA. But so I don't know how they picked German Shepherd. I think they just got lucky.
Well, do certain hair follicles of certain breeds of dog look different?
I mean, there's different types of dog fur, but I mean, German Shepherds have similar fur to like several other long-haired dogs. Also, I love the old school Dare poster.
Yes.
To keep a kid off drugs. There.
In my middle school, we didn't have Dare.
You had
'cause
Great?
We had Think.
Think.
And
Oh.
its emblem was like a little light bulb, but it was like the same thing. But I was always really jealous that I never got a Dare T-shirt, and I think that's why I did drugs in college.
All that
Kinda
makes
like
sense.
daddy issues, but like Dare issues.
Well, there didn't work either. So
Yeah,
Right.
obviously not.
No.
it didn't make things worse. It just kind of was.
Yeah, it was a thing.
There's a thing you had to do.
Like when you had to play the recorder in 4th grade.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I didn't have to do that either.
I was so bad at that.
I was proud of myself for learning to do In the Jungle, the Mighty Jungle on my own. And that's where I left it. All right, let's do a Yui on memory lane here and come back to the podcast.
Nothing interesting's happening yet. Also, this film quality is so bad.
I told you guys. I don't know
making me
what the
sad.
hell happened here, but I'm
I'm
depressed.
not upset. I pirated it.
I am gonna get the Blu-ray for this though. I like the movie enough.
When I was watching it with my friend Jamie, she like at this point was getting so frustrated because she's like, "When do these plot lines converge?" She was
Yeah,
just kept
actually-
yelling it over and over.
Why did
That's-
he throw the coffee out the window? They weren't like in the car already.
Oh shit! I can't be drinking coffee on the job.
Yeah.
It was actually rum and coke.
Probably. I mean, anything could be in that thermos.
Hmm.
Anything.
Anything. Mystery
coffee.
thermos. But yeah, watching this the other day with Kayla, she's like, "So these stories eventually come together, right?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes, yes,
Yeah.
eventually."
Nope, it's two side by side movies.
Right.
Yeah, it takes a while to really get like, how are you going to link this A to B plot?
Is that Black Luis Guzman?
Yes.
Now, I will say that once we get introduced to the police, I like that the police storyline gets solved in like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, we are cops. We are being.
This is
cop
what we do.
things.
We found
Yeah.
the guy.
We found the guy. Yeah.
Well, it's clear they've been searching for this guy for a while, based off of that board of photos and names.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's. I mean,
They
how
were
else do you
talking
know
about
that?
him like escalating, so
Yeah.
obviously he had multiple victims.
Yeah.
But like, if this movie were remade today, it's
This
one of
would
those
be the
things
all
entire
cop.
movie.
where I think it'd be like we'd be an hour and 15 minutes in, and we wouldn't have caught him yet.
Yeah, this would be a 2.5-hour movie.
And they would have kept Vince Vaughn as that detective, and Carl here in the bathtub would be played by Owen Wilson.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
So another quick aside. Found one of those stupid, autoplay videos going through Facebook, and it was someone doing the giant slalom in the Olympics, and every time he hit a gate, it did an Owen Wilson wow.
Oh no!
And I probably watched it 6 times.
That's great.
So, is he trying to grab for like aspirin or something?
Yeah, because when he had an attack in the car when he was stalking the other girl,
Oh, okay.
popped
he
aspirin.
popped like half a bottle of aspirin.
I love like this scene here. Like they're like pulling up to this like school. I'm like, oh my god, he lives above a school. And then just, or like you think like they're gonna crash into him like as he's like looking for his pills
Right.
and whatnot.
Seeing the hooks the first time really messed
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of wish they would go, because obviously they talk about his schizophrenia later on,
Mhm.
but like the voices that he's apparently hearing
Mhm.
are similar to the ones the little boy that Jennifer Lopez is also
Right,
hearing.
right.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish they talked about that specifically more, but I understand where it wouldn't really like fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they're just like base camping in this little room.
Hmm.
And I like these little cuts between all the different like strike teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like that. Obviously, he's not in the scene anymore, but that you can see the iron scar on his chest,
Mm.
which we'll talk about later. But
Yep.
Only
I like that
I
they
didn't
bring it all
I
the way
didn't
through.
notice it until they mentioned it, and then I'm like, oh, because like it's just kind of like that brick of the abduction scene. You don't notice the brick because your eyes aren't going there because you're not
Right.
looking for it.
Right.
You think like, oh, she hit a dog, but
Right.
now like spoilers, the iron that you'll learn about later. You can make it out, but they do a pretty good job of hiding it.
Mm.
They have to include it in the off chance that an angle catches his chest.
Well, I mean,
but-
they showed it pretty point blank when he was
Oh.
in the kitchen
Mm.
because he was like stumbling towards the
Okay,
camera.
Right.
yeah. I guess it wasn't a detail I was focused on. Also,
Yeah.
I was drinking Hop Slam while I watched.
Ah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't
that'll
notice
do
it
it.
the first couple times I saw it, but then once I kind of knew that there was something to see.
I like the cops. Like, I got the dog.
Dog collect.
I like that guy closing the cabinet like at the end of the movie, at the end of the music. Like,
It
that
would
just
have been
makes me
better
laugh.
if he was like, clear! After he closed it.
He's not in the cabinet.
He's not at the cabinets. Check the fridge!
But yeah, going back to the soundtrack, this Howard Shore, most well known for his contributions to Lord of the Rings. But this soundtrack in particular sounds a lot like the music of Johan Johansson, who did Sicario, where he's very much like this like brooding like Jaws, like
Yep.
dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun,
Ready to
dun,
watch
dun,
it.
dun. Yeah. So, and there's a lot of that kind of like broodingness to this soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a serious actor.
I also love Vince Vaughn's chain smoking through this whole movie because, like, obviously
He's a rough cop.
They don't show much cigarette smoking in movies anymore.
No,
they're not.
they
It's a
don't.
lot fewer and farther between. So the fact that he is constantly chain smoking and they just zoom in on the Marlboro like little logo so much makes me laugh.
Just all of this is just like, what in the hell?
Creepy, not technically illegal.
Yep.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The weird little like
Super
Boyd's.
crazy.
cryptozoology things. Like that season 1 from Dexter.
Oof.
Woof.
Everything's fine. This
Yep.
is this is a normal basement. Nothing to see here.
He's not a king shamer. Okay, so major problem I have with this. You see that symbol, you see that name.
Mm-hmm.
That's not brought up again until Act 3.
I know that legitimately makes me angry. I feel like good cops would
like
be
you
like,
are fucking bad cops.
I feel like good cops would have been like, "Where's this table from? We should probably track it down."
Yeah.
Like, what does this symbol mean?
This man has industrial equipment in his basement.
I
Yeah.
should probably look that up.
And we have loose ends because there's obviously someone alive. You know.
Though to be fair, this whole movie takes place in a span of less than 70 hours because that's how long he keeps the victim.
Yeah.
So I mean, gives him a little bit of time to like be like, oh, we wouldn't have had time to look into this yet or something.
That is something I will give this movie is it takes place over like 3 days, if not even.
Not even. Because I think that, I mean, obviously they say it later. We'll get to it, but he only keeps them for I think 70 hours.
Mm-hmm. And now we go into a scene that I assume influenced Saw 1.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to speak up, honey. We can't hear you.
I do think that's an interesting film choice of like doing these exterior shots and having the audio be muffled.
It's
like
great,
it a lot.
actually.
like
it makes it very just unsettling.
Yep.
I did read a little funny trivia fact about this movie, though, is that when this actress auditioned for the part, she was specifically asked if she could swim. And she was like, yeah, I'm a great swimmer. I worked as a lifeguard, blah, blah, blah. And then when it came time to film the water scenes, it was made abundantly aware that she could not go underwater without holding her nose. But it was too late to cut her and reshoot the scenes.
Okay.
So they had to playfully cut like hunks of those scenes out. So she's not sitting there like holding her nose.
Jeez. Was this guy in another movie we watched? Because he's the priest in Constantine who drinks himself to death, and I'm pretty sure I made that comment before in one of our episodes.
Huh.
But that's the guy.
I don't think so.
In utero.
Nice little bit of pseudoscience-y kind of things here. But it's
Nirvana
explained
into
like
this.
loosely enough that it's like, oh yeah, this is a totally
That
disease.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie throws a lot at you, but it ties everything together.
Yeah, it doesn't
Like-
leave a lot of loose ends.
Yeah. Well, they talk. You know, he talks about like, oh, this trigger is water related. You saw him in the
bathtub.
bathtub, and
They don't oversaturate
No.
with details and movie
but
science.
at the same time, like, it's just like, okay, yep, it's a thing. I think we'll probably get into this much more once we get into it. But this movie is a lot of
Excuse me.
style over substance.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and I was thinking, because you commented on that the other day, and at least for me, I agree completely. With asterisk, I agree that this movie is more style than substance, but I also say that this movie has enough substance. It just has way more style.
Yeah, they focused on the style and then wrote in the substance. Like, luckily, the substance is still pretty meaty.
For me.
But
Yeah, definitely style over substance.
Here, you
but
can
there's
tell
plenty.
it's serious now because
Yeah.
it's cops walking in slow motion with a helicopter and they're all billowing.
I wanted this to be the scene where like the camera links up perfectly with the wings of a bird or a helicopter, and it just looks like it's moving in without. Actually,
This is a good shot.
Yeah.
Of tracking over the catwalk.
Yeah.
There are a couple of really excellent bits of camera work in this movie too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pouty.
Yep.
Well, he provides them with a lot of drinking water.
Yep.
Oof.
This is a heavy thing to drop on like some
Yeah.
researchers.
Hey, researchers,
Yeah.
Yeah,
do this or some woman will die.
Yeah.
Okay, so hypothetical.
hypothetical. Do it.
So the woman has a toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think
She can flush it infinitely?
If she drank up, and we see like he puts a little bit of water, turns it off. She could drink all the water, then pee it in the toilet, or like scoop. We see she has a cup because she has like canned whatever's. Could she flush the water out of her cell?
I don't think so.
You'd have to hold. I don't know what the name of it is, but in the tank, the part
little
that
plunger
the
you
part that lets water into
Yeah.
the tank, you'd have to hold that down.
Yeah.
And
I
fuck, I don't know enough about toilets, but I think you might be able
The
to.
toilet would measure up to the.
It might
flow
buy you
rate
some
of
time.
the-
It's probably not going to
Yeah,
save you.
well,
what you'd have to do is hold the mechanism down that opens the valve, right? So that the water would continually go out of the toilet.
Right, but not come in.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think the flow rate is high
Or
enough.
no, because if the flow rate got to a certain point,
If you're a plumber, email us.
yeah,
There's like a chemical engineering like exam question.
There's a-
right, if the flow rate got to
Yeah.
a certain point where the flow rate of the water coming into the room was stronger than the flow rate of the water that would fill up the toilet, it would just hold that water down naturally and then go down the toilet if that would stayed open.
Yeah. No, but like, you see like the water turns on for like 5 minutes and then it's gone. Or it turns off.
Oh, it's
So-
insidious.
Well, yeah, it's meant to torture the girl in the chamber, but like you could scoop that water out, get rid of it and flush it, and then obviously it's not going to save you, but I don't know.
That's a hell of a marketing tool to recruit these folks.
But I mean, to be
It's
fair,
just
she would
so-
also have to be underwater to hold the mechanism at which you cannot breathe.
Yes. But they're going to be
Could-
swimming in grant money if
I-
they get this right.
I've always wondered if you could do toilet snorkels like in Kingsman. I don't know if that actually works.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sign here and here and here. Now you have a mortgage.
Conveniently,
A
there are
mortgage for
three
a
suits.
Yeah,
5-bedroom house.
There's convenient skin-tight suits that'll just fit everybody.
Yeah. Though I do like they address, they're like, why is there a third one?
Mhm.
So it's not like there's conveniently randomly a third
Right.
one.
Yeah.
They at least explain that part, which I appreciated.
There's just conveniently one size for a portly man.
Wawa floats. The unnecessarily.
Oh, that late 90s UI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, Vince Vaughn is so young in this.
Mhm.
I was mad that Catalyst wasn't an acronym for something.
Yeah.
All right, Vince
That
Vaughn,
line
just-
always made me so angry.
close your mouth.
All you need to do is tune in, but really you have to do much more than tune in.
Mhm. So I wonder, do we think that there are circuits on those blankets, or are they
Yes.
just graphics that look like circuits?
They're
I think it's
circuit
I
meant
think
to be
they're
circuits
supposed
that-
to be circuits.
I think it's supposed to be circuits that measure like their neurological activity, so they can
Hmm.
measure what's going on in their
Yeah,
brains.
because you'll see, like when they put them on their face, that's when their little computer screen lights up.
Yeah.
So it's like the computer doesn't connect to them until they have the little blankie.
Why they have the muscle suits? Who knows?
It looks cool.
Those look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Although it also looks like they're wearing Twizzlers.
Yep.
Pull it.
Now
baby.
that just sounds delicious.
See, really, those little shawl things are just soaked in chloroform.
Yeah.
LSD and chloroform.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Forget and love us.
Boop. Brr, 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 brr. So, I mean, yeah, I get it's a touch-sensitive microchip, but they show her actually touching her real hand early on. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
your skin's pretty touch-sensitive.
Yeah.
That wake you up? I don't know. It's kind of the totem effect from Inception, right?
Yes. Again, it was just like it's a different totem from Inception.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, see, here's where they talk about therapists.
Oh, best child therapist. Yep.
Like the Seth Rogen movie.
I actually haven't seen, but I'd like to. What's AJ, what is it, Adonde or whatever? I don't know how to say his last name. The guy from the IT Crowd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do love
Moss.
that movie. Not movie, TV show.
Mm-hmm. So they never said she wasn't a therapist.
They say it a bunch of times.
Yeah, they say it later.
Yeah. I was only mildly paying attention. for
What is this
movie.
supposed to be?
This
looks like-
brain activities, macrame.
It looks like a close-up shot of just
Oh,
a placemat
no.
on a
It
dinner
is a
table.
90s new metal music video.
Ah,
Yeah, and then she goes through the fibers and there's creepy dolls.
Yeah, is it supposed to be like the circuitry fiber and his
Yeah, I
brain
think it's
like- Yeah.
kind of smashed
It's like
together?
going into like a
This-
state, like a fugue state, where it like starts looking like the fabric and then fades into the.
this is actually a
Dream
great
sequence,
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really
The
is.
whole
The-
arc of the
the-
camera,
Mm-hmm.
and then the
Yeah.
transition here. That's actually great.
Yeah.
Ass. Was nominated for Best Screenplay that year.
So we get a little shot here of H.R. Giger inspired architecture.
Oh no! Did that hit crazy stairs?
This is a great
Yeah.
little effect there because you think because you're oriented as a
Right.
top to bottom now, side to side.
Front, back, side
Yeah.
to side.
Yep.
Bye.
Looks like a really fucked up episode of Planet Earth.
I
If
wanted to
anything, like,
pull
the
that
face-
off. It had a picture of her face on it.
Yeah, if anything, like that's one of the most like bizarre things.
Yeah.
So, I know I'm probably in the minority for thinking of this, but I kind of, at least in these scenes, like the lower quality of this version because it
Yeah.
makes it look a lot more.
It's all snuff
dreamscapey.
filmy, and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
More grindhousey.
Yeah.
Took a while for the shadows to catch up with her rear end there, just saying.
the
Something about this really bothers me,
Yeah.
that scene.
black
The blood
dog,
puppy.
Just
blood pup.
yes, everything about this makes me uncomfortable.
So yeah, here we start going into like the style over substance things. Like these things are uncomfortable. We have no context why, or
Yeah.
like why they have like the black dog or like the tub and the blood. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That's
To me,
just
there,
really
I mean,
dark,
I lean a
spooky
little bit.
Valentine.
So we've talked before a little bit on the Star Wars episode about, yeah, you know, so I don't need to know how many fucking kilowatts this goddamn engine uses when you go to light speed. Like, that's detail we don't need. For scenes like this, we're inside of a crazy person's head. I feel like you don't need a lot of context for this things to be in the
Yeah.
movie.
Warhorse 2, Electric Boogaloo.
So this is the second horse we see. I'm presuming like so originally I thought it was him in her mind, not the other way around.
Mm-mm.
And yeah, that's made apparent very soon. So, but I envision this as she brings a horse in as a therapy tool.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, does JLo have a thing for horses? And this is just kind of like a tool she uses to establish, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because what little kid doesn't like horses? Even
Yeah.
if, you know.
Come here, Tiny Kelso.
I mean, this scene, though, does a good job of establishing her as a warm person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I love this setup and just the urgency in little Carl.
Yeah.
He's like, "Get the fuck out, lady!"
Also, this effect still looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus
also,
Christ.
Yeah. I also like this scene too because it establishes little Carl as a caring person.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone who's still like vulnerable and caring.
He's childlike.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it also means that, to speak to your point, Ryan, that this is like the mind of someone who is troubled. He knows that that's going to happen. Like
Yeah.
he has seen this before
Right,
repeatedly.
And the fact that the horse is still alive and
Yeah.
Right.
like, I mean, that looks it's 90 CG, but it's
Yeah, this is almost 20 years old at this point. It looks
No.
pretty good.
Yeah. I do. That just like reminds me of that really cool like human bodies exhibit that I've
Mm.
seen.
Oh,
at
yeah.
Science Center like a million times.
Yep.
They have like the slabs of people.
Mm-hmm.
This
Right
scene
back
is,
back into 90s music video territory.
yeah. This is like 9 Inch Nails mixed with Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Mhm. I actually like that was one of the artistic influences was those music videos
I
for,
like
for this
these
stuff.
little cuts, like these like quick moving.
Yeah.
Like, and when like the rush down the stairs, which is like there, and she
Yep.
shows up little lower.
This entire section of this movie just made me so uncomfortable the first time I saw
Yeah.
Yeah.
it as little Ryan.
And part of me just wants to like yell at her, like, "Why are you're in a psychopath's brain?
Yeah,
why
why are you touching
pulling levers?"
anything?
Yeah. This is a House on Haunted Hill / Silent Hill sequence.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, this is every horror video game I've ever played.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is also a lot of like the King in Yellow stuff from Delta Green as a whole. Just like
Mm.
look at all this crazy ass shit.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
it's like a terrifying zoo.
Being
Yep.
an adolescent male and watching this scene, there were so many
Confused.
emotions. Just all the emotions. Like, this is so
Rusty mechanics.
fucked up.
Yep.
Yeah.
The horse thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sweet God.
So are we to imply that these are people that he has killed?
Yes, I believe so.
I think so.
That these are how the people that he has killed, he sees them in his head.
Right.
That's how
Yeah.
I view it.
That one actually really freaks me out. Just all
too.
these
The
fucking
deer.
hairless animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, they do talk about in one of the police meetings that he sees them as his toys. and
Yeah,
his
Right.
his dolls. Yeah.
This is kind of like the museum of his dolls.
Yeah.
But I still don't get what like
buff
this girl is supposed to represent.
Yeah. Like everything else, I'm like,
I
okay,
really
yeah.
like this one,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
spinning music box one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad effects, but good idea.
It
And there's a
looks-
lot
it
of
looks
that.
better
in
with
this.
the
Yeah.
with the non-grainy film.
Yeah.
So
This is gorgeous.
this
Yeah.
is gorgeous, and the idea. I love the creativity with how this transpires when he gets out of his throne.
Mhm.
It's so cool.
Well, I think it's also a lot of like the Eastern sensibilities that this movie brings into a Western world of just like
yeah.
the style of the clothing, like the high-waisted pants, the
Mhm.
hairstyles.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the idea that his fucking cape
Yeah,
goes
it
around the
goes
whole
all the way
room.
around.
Yeah.
It was so cool to me because that implies such a presence of this person.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like purple is the color of
Royalty,
royalty.
yeah.
Yeah. That he is the room in and of itself.
Right.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
creeps me out. Actually,
And they're looking at all.
We're looking at Carver again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
they're getting there.
I'm like, a clue.
0, 1, 2, 3.
and then M for Mancy.
It's the kind of idiot combination an idiot would have on his luggage.
Oh, damn, it worked.
No, your kitchen shit.
Hmm.
The color scheme of this is interesting. Like
Yeah.
I can't think of many like medical offices where there's such a blue.
Hmm.
It's also kind of refreshing for today's films. We've often talked about, or people often talk about, the blue filter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in this movie, this interior scene of this medical research lab is the only place where there's that blue
Yeah.
color tone.
And it does make the muscle suit stand out pretty well. So.
Sure.
And it mutes everything else, so it
Yeah.
makes the dream sequences even more
more
vivid.
vibrant, yeah.
Mhm.
Just a moment.
Where is he from? I can't.
He's Dr. Connors in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Oh yes,
Mm.
you're
Spider-Man
right.
movies.
Yes.
Spider-Man.
He's also in the
Spider-Man 2.
very, very fun
Grainco.
Trick or Treat movie.
Oh yes, he is one of the dad. He's the dad.
Michael Dougherty, yeah, I think is
Yep,
the director.
You are
Have-
correct.
Have you seen Happy Death Day yet, Ryan?
I
Actually,
love
we-
that movie.
I
I,
heard
will talk
from
about
you-
that movie forever.
From you and others that it was really good, and
It's so much fun.
I've come very close to getting it recently, but no, I haven't seen it yet.
You should. It's fun.
Yeah, I've
It's
heard of
Screen
that a
mixed with
lot.
Groundhog Day.
It's so much fun. That's where the water goes, lady. What are you doing?
Well, she's underneath the bench, so she's not.
She doesn't want to get
Getting
rained
rained
on.
on.
Yes, that seems to be going so well.
I mean, I imagine at that like force of water, it's actually pretty painful.
Yeah.
So I don't blame her.
Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum.
Just start scooping
So,
it into the toilet.
Again, talking about this scene and watching, externally to the chamber, the cell, a different cell. It is very cool that she's muted because that implies we're standing feet away from this chamber as far as the audience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we can barely hear her. So
Yeah.
that implies there's no chance of anyone hearing her at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, it's an excellent way of, instead of like the guy being like, they put them in a soundproof box,
Right.
that they
Yeah.
just show you as opposed
Yeah.
to doing that, which,
Showing as opposed to telling.
Yeah.
yes.
Which I appreciate.
This isn't a novel. You can do what you want.
Mm.
Yeah. The lighting in the scene makes Vince Vaughn look dirty.
I think it's he's got 5 o'clock.
I think.
I mean, he also hasn't showered. He very clearly slept in the police station.
Look at his forehead. It's his hair makes him look really dirty.
I don't know. I think maybe the Vince Vaughn in this
he is
scene
also dirty.
makes the room look
He
clean.
brushed his teeth in the police station and spit into a cup. He clearly hasn't showered.
Mm-hmm. Gargled with a beer. Speaking of which, I enjoyed this beer. After the couple beers we had beforehand, this is a nice, just easy drinking kind of Gose.
It's good, yeah,
got
for
about,
sure.
What's 4.8% or something like that? So
I think it's written on the bottle cap.
yep, that's what I was peering over for. So I'm enjoying this.
You're not going to wake him up, J-Lo. You can speak up.
She literally can't raise her voice. She's the one who developed polyps on her vocal cords.
I should have listened to a lot more J-Lo before watching this episode. Could have made some music jokes.
Don't be fooled by the rocks that she got.
Exposition. Dream therapy exposition.
Listen here.
So
Who
many
is this
hard
random
edges.
girl that's running like on the campus of this building?
They gave an hour every week for physical activity.
Oh, okay. It's like a jail.
Yes. Research jail.
Research jail. I mean, that's what grad school felt like, so.
I bet. Human emotions.
But not as much as his new job.
I used to
Gym
be-
owner at Average Joe's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be a movie actor where all my scenes were improvised and only occasionally funny.
Also, something I really appreciate about this movie is that, I mean, obviously there's some, little bit of chemistry between the two, but they're not trying to shoehorn in a really obnoxious romantic relationship on top of the psychological thriller aspect.
Yeah, we don't get any cuts of them just trying to bone the hell out of each other.
And I feel like if this movie was made today, like,
That would
in
be
between, like, in the dreamscape, they'd be like,
no.
fucking.
No. Here's what it would have been. They would have known each other from a previous failed relationship,
Yes,
and
they would have been
through
exes and
the
had to work
traumatic
together,
experiences
yeah.
of going into his mind, they would reestablish their emotional connectivity, and they would come out being like, "I couldn't have made it out of there without you. Thank you for saving me." Blah 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 blah. Mwah, mwah,
Make
mwah,
out,
mwah,
make
mwah.
out.
Bone, bone, bone.
Trademark GBBV before that gets redone in Hollywood. Thank you very much.
I'll say that's literally the plot of Inception, but not really though.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
But you didn't hear me because I've been whispering for days.
Time to smoke.
Fuck that film grain.
Gotta
man.
get that Marlboro money.
Yeah.
Woman, use your voice.
Yeah.
Passing around the growler of beer.
Is that more Gose?
More Gose.
Gose.
Who goes there?
Nah.
Nah. I'm just gonna make a little pour here for myself.
Little porry pour.
Passing it on to the clear there, boss.
Passing it on there, boss.
There you go.
Can I interest you in another little splash?
You're good.
Gross.
You talking to me?
I think it's interesting that you see Vince Vaughn's little backstory here. If he made the lateral move from attorney to FBI agent, which I don't. That's not a career path I've ever heard of, I suppose.
Everything's possible in Hollywood.
I suppose,
Yeah.
yeah. Because like when people get into the FBI, they go to Quantico at the early age.
And
of
I like that
early
heavy
20s.
hinting that he was abused as a child.
Yeah.
He wasn't a psychopath.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was expecting that to come up again.
I was too.
I was too, especially like once he gets into Dreamland.
Yeah, of
I-
being like, oh, I need to do the thing.
But I kind
where-
of like that it didn't.
There was funny
Yes.
Vince Vaughn that popped up.
Yeah, I was
for a
gonna say
second.
that was improv Vince Vaughn.
He did the wink. He did the Vince Vaughn
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
I was looking over at you guys and not at the movie, so I will maybe go look for it again when I get home.
Max, I didn't have my smolder ready.
His voice even changes when he does that bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He gets into future comedy Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a lot of completely see-through shirts in my closet that I wear. But
You should get some.
yeah, I probably should. Valentine, I feel sorry for you.
I want the dog to just start like eating it.
Yeah.
They look over, there's just half a corpse on the table.
I mean, like, I love my cat with all of my heart, but I know for a fact that Forrest Mueller would eat me if I died.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Be like, where's my wet food? Now it's you.
It's you.
I do
Stay in
love
this
that
room, dog. You have no use at this point.
Pork, 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 pork.
I do like the whole like the laboratory they have there with the fancy tables that sink into the floor and everything. Because in an actual laboratory,
They wouldn't do that.
No, that'd just be a bunch of like cheap
They would, like,
tables
roll
from
away
Costco
the-
that rolled away.
The collapsible banquet table for $15.
And I do like this somewhat carries like not both of the drugs, but one of the drugs is called Neuromed,
Yes.
which takes me back to Freddy versus Jason.
Hypnosil.
Hypnosil. And what was it? Tranquizone?
Yeah, the trank.
They're just gonna give up and they're gonna have like a box of brainy change or something.
And now we have our
See, I do like this scene too,
the
because
Total Recall
I
sequence.
still haven't figured out if this is actually happening or not.
This movie.
Yeah, this is a good little like toying with reality kind of thing that we got in Freddy vs. Jason.
I was gonna say that.
So
that's,
Claire, you're 2 for 2 on movies involving going into people's dreams, starring in New Line Cinema films
Yeah, I took this
with
as
musicians in the leading roles. No, not leading, but in the
In
main
roles.
cast.
Yeah, it was the main cast. Yeah.
Kelly Ripa, R.I.P.
Not Kelly Ripa, Kelly Rowland.
Roland, sorry.
Kelly Ripa's
Kelly Ripa.
still kicking.
They both are.
Regis was off his meds one day and tragedy happened. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm small. Now it's dark.
Then the dog eats you.
The dog's not huge.
It's me watching me, watching me, watching me, watching me. Deep cut, Space Ghost.
Noah will get it probably.
No. Oh, yeah, Noah. All right.
Yep. Hi, Noah.
If you're listening, hi, Noah. Getting our super obscure Two Stupid Dogs jokes.
Two stupid dogs.
Yeah.
Two stupid dogs.
I don't like this box.
It's J-Lo in a
I'm
box.
pretty
Box or mime school? Who knows?
J-Lo in a box, girl.
I'm pretty sure that this was a trailer moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I think it might have been what the trailer opened on.
Geeker hallway.
Yeah, again, it doesn't look great, but the idea is cool and the framing is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Probably looked a lot better on a theater screen.
And the color balance is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That music. Again, playing with the water theme.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. This kind of reminds me of that one scene from 300 with the Oracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Which Immortals took a lot from.
Mm.
But both of those movies and this movie, very good color balances of
Right.
striking colors against.
Yeah.
Beautiful movies.
Lots of yellows in all of these movies.
Yeah.
Not right now, but
Doggy.
later, beginning, yep.
Ghost Lady, you got food?
So part of me thinks the dog is the actual villain of this movie.
Yeah.
Our friends just a couple blocks down the road have an albino dog of the same breed, actually.
Okay, so
I haven't...
clear admission, this upcoming sequence of his childhood is the most
It's
difficult to me
hard
to
to
watch.
watch.
Difficult part of the movie for watch.
Because it's just straight up child abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no like.
There's
this is
no
gonna sound
like,
weird, but there's like
nothing
no
fantastical about it.
Yeah, there's no stylization to it or anything.
It's just
They
like
kinda
these are things that
mask
happened
it.
to him.
Yeah.
I think that adds to its potency.
Oh, absolutely.
Where it's just like, well, this could, this is any home Americana.
It's
you
just
know?
rough to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe the actual name of this orange Gose where you're having this black orange Gose is called Once You Gose Black.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Man, we're all going deaf today. How old are we?
Old.
We old.
I'm still not 30.
Also still
You
not
shut
30.
your damn mouth.
High five across Ryan's head.
Oh, I just threw it through my head. Energy transfer. So again, it's very cool that he is so
Protective
invested
of
in
her.
protecting her.
Yeah.
Well, he still has the child's innocence to him before it gets literally beaten out of him.
Okay, weirdly, this guy looks like a super drunk, fucked up version of Chris O'Dowd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a name in my head of who I think he looks like, but it's not coming to me.
Yeah, very effective and very uncomfortable. Everything the next couple of minutes is rough.
Mm-hmm.
Super rough. Like when we were watching this on Sunday, we were just like all kind of, shooting shit.
This
talking
fuck,
smack.
dude.
I don't.
We all got deathly quiet during the next couple scenes.
Yeah, I don't.
And like this,
I don't
it's
know
just-
what's. I think I know what's implied here. I don't want to admit that's what happens, though.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, this is just super fucked up.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it
So-
just makes me sad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He looks like Harry Dean Stanton with more hair.
Harry Dean Stanton. You got a picture?
Yeah. He was the guy in Aliens with the ball cap who gets killed when he's looking for the cat. Twin Peaks fans know him as Carl, the guy who owns the trailer park from Fire Walk with Me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that. There's a younger version.
Yes, he's
Here
also.
comes the iron.
Yeah.
Everything about this, I mean, it's super, super uncomfortable. But from everyone's perspective, her is just someone who is a social worker, just having to sit there and just watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like things she deals with on a regular
Puppy Valentine.
basis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's super cute. Which also makes it more tragic because it's something the dog has grown accustomed to from
Yeah.
being a
Right.
puppy.
Yeah. Well, do you think that that's supposed to kind of be something that like is spoken to, that Carl as a child had his innocence taken and destroyed from him, and
Similar
Carl
to
has done the same
Valentine?
thing to the dog?
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't know
Maybe.
because we never see the dog actually act violently.
That's true. It never does anything.
dog-
Because
Like,
even
you
when
never-
they go and, take him away from the house, arresting him or
Dog
like,
just sits
the
there.
Dog
dog
just
is,
like-
the dog's barking.
The dog's barking, but he's not like attacking the cops
Yeah,
or
yeah.
anything.
The dog's
Like in any
very
other movie, they would have
well-behaved.
like killed the dog or whatever. But he's like, "Oh, I got the dog," and the dog's
Right.
just like, "Oh no, I'm been had."
But I'm not saying that Carl was like. We don't ever see Carl be violent to the police either.
Well, because he's already in a coma by the
Right,
time the police
I get that,
there.
but it's more. I guess I'm speaking more to the fact that both of them had their innocence taken from
Sure.
them as a.
I think that's
a child.
definitely a plausible theme that may have been gone for. So in every form that Vincent D'onofrio takes in this movie, I think he's great.
Yeah.
Now he's in grunge singer mode.
Yeah.
He even has
Wah,
like
wah.
kind of like just like
Again.
childlike tone and like the way he has like
Yeah.
the way he has his facial expression makes him seem very childlike.
Yeah, he can
Yeah.
switch back and forth between like the innocence and
I love
Even that.
all the
Yeah.
cuts here.
Yeah.
the cuts where they're showing him smoking, but it's still the story happening.
It's like the darkest version of Me, Myself, and Irene.
yeah.
Yeah.
I swear he must have put on or lost weight between this and some other scenes. Because he looks a lot. He's not like kingpin heavy in some of the upcoming scenes, but he looks a little more like full in the face.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just that you don't have the hair obscuring a lot of
Sure.
facial features.
Oof.
Mm. She got on point makeup for being in Dreamland.
Oh yeah.
Hey, be what you want to be. Where this scene leads to, I just thought was so cool.
Yeah.
I'm not really disappointed, but the first time I watched this movie, interesting.
Yep.
From him. But the first time I watched this movie, I very much wanted the problem with Carl to not be neurological. I wanted it to be something new, supernatural.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
having watched it again, everything that the movie does in the quote unquote dream world, that scratches my itch for it.
Yeah, I mean,
This is a great transition.
You would expect like in '99 or 2000 when this came out, it would be supernatural because
If you think about it, it'd be easy for
It'd
it
be
would only
quite-
be a couple little rewrites to make it a
Yeah.
horror movie.
Yeah.
Which I
Yeah.
think it speaks to kind of the craziness of the movie.
But because you're able to put it in the dream world, you can have it seem supernatural without being.
Yeah.
Maybe unplug it and plug it back in, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a brainologist. So, I didn't take count before. How many forms does Carl have in this movie?
So many.
Normal Carl, young Carl, that's 2. All right.
Mhm.
Crazy
Horned
King,
Carl.
Horn Carl, Crazy King
Horn-
Carl.
There are a couple King
Young-ish-
Carls.
Well, there's
Yeah.
Purple
young
Cape Carl.
That's more what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The collar just freaks me out. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like even the little drops of blood they show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, so there's young Carl, regular Carl,
Mm-hmm.
the Carl with the grunge hair.
Wait, which that's
Well,
normal Carl.
I consider regular Carl in the dream and outside of normal life Carl,
I
the
forget
same
that he's not. I
Carl.
forget that he's not bald in the real world.
Yeah.
Sorry, he's bald and everything else. So yeah, young, regular, purple cape,
Yep.
horns,
Okay.
Intestine guy that we see
Intestine
later.
guy.
intestine guy.
Yellow guy. Or did you already
Yellow
count
guy.
him?
That is intestine guy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Snake.
There's snake guy, right? So that's what, 7 forms?
I
Roughly?
got 6, but whatever. Several makeup.
More than 4.
More than 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it bigger than a bread box?
But I like that you can see both the 4 angles of the interior
Mm-hmm.
while seeing the background, while not being able to also see exactly what's going on in the cell.
Right.
So the way she kind of looked in that scene, like where she was, pressed against the wall. If they were to remake this movie today, I feel like the way she looked there it looked like Alison Brie, and I feel like Alison Brie, if she got a little dark, would do a very good job as this kidnapped girl role.
Mm-hmm.
Just my thoughts.
That brings up a little interesting question. If this movie were made today,
Oh boy.
who would you want as the main 4? Well, okay, the main 3 leads: Vince Vaughn, J-Lo, Vincent D'onofrio, and who would you want as? Let's say Alison Brie as the.
I think Amy Adams would do a really good job as Jennifer Lopez
Okay.
because she has that just quote unquote purity that I think that character really has to embody.
And
But she also has a little bit of an edge.
the way she handled Arrival and acted in
Yeah.
Arrival.
Oh,
Arrival
yeah.
is
Super
so
good.
good.
Yeah, I think Amy Adams would do a really good job in the main role.
All right. I'm gonna say maybe Rosamund Pike.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, she's
She
always
has
good.
that intensity to her,
Mm-hmm.
as you can see in
Fucking Gone Girl.
Yes, Gone Girl. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I was thinking
Yeah,
of.
it's such a good movie.
James, anyone?
I almost think Rosamund Pike is like too dark though.
Yeah, I don't know. If you wanted to make J-Lo a little more damaged,
Yeah.
like she was maybe abused or whatever. then you
Yeah,
could
but
go
I
that
think
way.
kind of, at least in my mind, she acts as like the perfect foil
Yeah,
to his character.
yeah.
So she really has to be kind of like the ultimate in
Mm-hmm.
like strong, but still like super vulnerable and understanding and compassionate.
You know what? I'm going to interject with someone a little younger. I wonder if Emma Watson would be good in J-Lo's
Ooh,
spot.
I think so too. maybe I think she might be too young, but I like kind of that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
now
nice.
convenient third muscle suit.
Yes, that just happens to fit him.
Yep. They're one size fits all. They're stretchy.
Yeah.
Licorice stretches, James.
I want some Twizzlers.
So for the serial killer, I think the obvious choice people would go with is Cumberbatch.
Okay.
That's an interesting one.
That's an interesting one.
I propose somebody else.
Okay.
I think that you could get a very interesting role out of Lady Gaga
Ooh.
Oh.
as the
That's
serial
really
killer.
outside the
Oh,
box.
that's
and I'm
very,
into it.
yeah.
I haven't seen.
Does she still kidnap women?
Yeah.
You could, yeah. And I think it would be very interesting to see her in these sequences.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
I
yeah.
think they could do some
She
really cool stuff.
she
in
was
there.
born this way.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Hey.
This cutscene annoys me.
It's not
I
good.
forgot this happened.
It looks like a Windows XP
Yeah, like
screensaver.
screensaver, yeah.
it
It
does.
looks like Lawnmower Man.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh
yeah.
boy. Yeah. Stop with this. Someone move the mouse.
For-
Digital
Stop.
anus.
Yeah.
E pluribus anus.
Yeah. And see, I wouldn't have thought
I wouldn't
that
have-
it
I wouldn't
Benihana
have gone that
Cumberbund.
way.
So I'm intrigued by thinking Benihana Cumberbund, but I
So-
like Lady Gaga.
So so I originally was going for this as the FBI lead, but I also could see him as the serial killer is Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ryan Gosling as the FBI lead makes a lot of sense.
Another one as a serial killer that I would suggest is Tom Hardy. If you haven't seen the movie Bronson, I recommend
Oh gosh,
it.
I love
Yeah,
that
it's-
movie.
I haven't
Yeah.
love
finished
that
it,
movie so good.
but it's so good.
Have you seen it's the one where he's in Prohibition.
Oh, fucking Lawless! That's
Lawless.
a great movie.
He's so good.
Where he plays his twin brother.
No, he's just part of a family.
Part of
Was
a
it the
family.
Forrester family or
Yeah,
Forrest?
it's him
I forget.
and
was it
Shia
LaBeouf?
is in that movie.
And then the guy who was
Oh yeah.
Shia LaBeouf would be a great serial killer,
actually
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Shia LaBeouf's actually a better actor than I think most people give him credit
Yeah.
for.
No, I think Shia LaBeouf is a great actor.
Yeah. Isn't this also a Finger 11 music video for one thing?
What's his?
This part is fucking freaky.
I'm trying to think. Mark Ruffalo as Vince Vaughn.
I like that.
Yeah. Going with curly black hair. I like
yeah,
it.
they
Yep.
kind of look the same right there.
Yeah.
This looks like a Hulk sequence.
And I
Thor's
just love
gonna
Mark
come by and
Ruffalo.
ruffle his hair. Be
Yep.
like, it's okay, buddy.
I like that response though. All right.
So we're
Tom
doing
Hiddleston
this.
also would make.
The sun's
Good
getting
serial
real
killer.
low. The sun's
Yeah.
getting real low. The sun's getting real low.
Stop saying that.
I think Justin Theroux would also be a good Vince Vaughn detective character.
I'm not familiar with who that is.
I mean, he's done a bunch of stuff over the years, but if you've ever seen
I heard Justin Trudeau. When
no,
you
not
said
Trudeau.
that.
Trudeau would also be great.
Yeah.
The Leftovers on HBO. It's been done for a little bit, but I've been watching it. It's fantastic show. You should watch it. But he plays like a damaged cop.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
I have that hat.
Looks like
This
a
is
armor set from Final Fantasy, or at least
Yeah.
the
Yeah, it
headpiece.
does.
so here we see like the evolution of the collar into a full like posture collar.
Yeah. But straight up, once I take this little mask off, this is 100% what I looked like in high school.
I've seen the photos to confirm that. Weird little shredder mask. I mean, I don't know if it's the lighting or this the yellow filter on this, but she looks way, or excuse me, or the makeup, way more Caucasian in this.
Yeah, I think
almost like an Asiatic appearance to
I
her.
think it's like the yellow gel, because everything looks really, really...
And the makeup.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ah,
Bird.
And then you kind of notice that she's chained down, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
notice right
didn't
away.
notice the back of the collar was attached to the floor until the second watch through where I'm like, okay, I've seen this, and I'm like, oh, I was trying to take more of the surrounding, and you can see it like going down her back and going to the floor. Again, it's just a lot of those like little details you don't get on a first look.
I think that speaks to your there's more substance here than you think comment, Ryan.
Yeah, again, definitely more style than substance, but plenty of substance. Every iteration of Carl in this movie is unsettling.
Yeah.
This version looks like a Dark Souls character.
He does.
Yeah.
He looks like someone you'd fight in Anne Orlando.
Yes.
Yep. Or like the skeleton guy who summons other skeleton guys.
Right.
I love this scene.
So
Yeah.
I watched this movie with a buddy in high school, and this is one of the most referenced things that we would discuss anytime we were talking about something that was like, hey, that was really fucked up, and then we'd do the little like hee hee, the gleeful finger tapping that's coming up soon here. Me and one Mike Stevenson, who I've fallen out of touch with over the years.
That doesn't even look like J-Lo.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the point
It's
there.
extra sinister. It's good.
Yeah. I think that's why it's okay later when you do see them kind of like together or when they kiss or whatever happens, like, because it was the first time there shows any attraction, it's this forced kind of mental thing where it's clearly not her under her own control.
Right.
His teeth in this scene freak me
Yeah,
out.
they're very small.
Yeah. Much like our tooth debate in Freddy versus Jason.
Yes, teeth.
The silent screams,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
the heavy
it's-
breathing makes
Yeah.
this much.
And like the very loud intestinal
Squishy.
goo noise.
Yeah.
And again, Vincent D'onofrio just nailing it. That right there.
Yeah.
It's just.
That's
Isn't
a
there
good
a similar
face right
clap
there,
like that in Zoolander?
I can
I
see.
mean,
Is this fucking dark ass Mugatu? Is that what you're getting at?
yeah,
Yes,
it does look like
that's
dark.
exactly what I'm
And
getting
I
at.
love the music box music. Well, it's like
Yeah.
Jack in the Box.
Mm-hmm.
This is like R-rated Big Trouble in Little China
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, most of us have had this dream experience where we're in some horrible situation, screaming, trying to get out of it,
Yeah.
and we're just muted.
I haven't had the one where my intestines are being pulled out.
Mm. Snap out of it, woman!
It's a very I like the little the slow realization of
Realization,
Yeah.
Don't make me bring up Geely.
I mean, and I know everyone gives J-Lo a lot of shit for her foray into acting, but I think
I need to
this,
put
this
this-
shows that she really can hold her own.
Yeah.
Like, she's not a bad actress
No,
when it
not at
comes
all.
to these crazy scenes. Like, yeah,
This
when she's
is-
doing her little therapy thing, sometimes it gets a little cheesy and quiet, but
Right.
she can.
Yeah, she does a
She
fine
acted
job.
the shit out of that scene.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep. Stabs him with a spiky dildo.
And I love the mocking from D'Onofrio in this. It's not real. It's not real.
Yep.
I love the costume design.
Mhm.
And then this.
This little bit.
His roars are really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. The melty face
Yeah.
here is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Interesting though that even though they're out of that sequence, she's still kind of tarted up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now we're
We're
into some
here.
higher level D&D
Yeah.
stuff.
Or stuff that wound up on the editing floor of a Marilyn Manson music video, I guess.
Nah, it's,
I mean, he was
Like-
wearing white contacts in the last scene.
yeah. I expect to see that. This is kind of stuff you see in Pillars of Eternity. In the Numenera setting, where it's just look at this weird rotating hologram cube in this otherwise just generic fantasy town. And I'm like, yep, that's a weird geometric shape there, boss. Nanites.
Like on a Google map.
Like
No.
how he's blood in his back.
Yeah, she doesn't acknowledge it right away, but if you're paying attention, this whole scene, he's got that blood on his shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she notices.
I know, but every
It takes
shot
her a
up
little
until
bit,
then,
yeah.
Yeah.
he's got the blood there. It's good continuity.
It's like a bunch of butts just peeing.
It's not how butts work, Max.
Yeah.
Read a book. I think that was a cool touch, actually.
I don't know. I mean, it's. I don't know.
And once again, this disturbs me.
Oh, this is disturbing.
This
Yeah.
is like,
To me,
yeah.
this is like the scariest scene in the movie.
The Pennywise.
Yeah.
And
Oh no, it's the same. It's the same Carl.
and then how he comes over, and then it's
just
the
like
dancing.
wiggly jiggly.
Wiggly
Yeah.
jiggly loo. Bye bye, little Carl.
And yeah,
That-
like the blood
yeah.
continuity is crazy. It's all through all versions of
Yeah.
Carl.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought there would be a sequence in this movie where like Carl gets his mind back, or like he starts like spasming, like oh my god, he's coming back. Like, you know.
No.
And then this scene's like, oh yeah, we're on a timeline.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is something that I'm kind of glad they don't address in this movie is the passage of time in
Oh,
the
okay.
system versus not in the system.
The water starts surging out of the bottom as well.
Yeah.
That's why you can't flush it down. But yeah, sorry, Ryan.
No, no.
Timeline.
Yeah, that was all.
And it had been long enough from the previous scene of that cell that you weren't thinking about the time,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
timeline. Like one of my criticisms of the beginning part of this movie is it flips back and forth between the 2 or 3 different plot lines, like so much that you're like, what's kind of going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I kind of would have wanted like all of Carl's stuff to kind of be like one sequence, maybe. Or maybe not as split up as it was.
I want you to find a chalkboard with the words "I did it" scrawled on it.
But I like how he's making him look at it. He had a picture of it. We saw him looking at it earlier.
Yeah.
He could have
Yeah.
just pulled out his picture.
Well, obviously there
But
was
it had
some grit
dirt on
that
it.
Had to,
Yeah.
But I don't know. It looked like they like excavated the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, clear. I mean, he doesn't have any special access.
Fine. Still Jenny from the block. Put me back in.
Yeah. Helicopters.
Get to the chopper.
It's not as important anymore because it's in regular mo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that what his partner, whose name I forget, it links back to the parents' concern at the beginning of the movie with the therapy for their kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you're seeing all this stuff, but
Yeah. We
what
only
does it
had
matter?
Your word of it.
Yeah.
Is it just bullshit that you're imagining, or does it have significance to the patient? You know.
Mm-hmm. Lithium carbonate.
Tap for 3 mana.
Yeah.
Gotta poop.
She just eats it.
Yeah.
Drugs.
Just immediately flips over and explodes.
Yeah. Battlefield 4 Academy of Piloting. No,
Puppy.
You didn't say the magic word.
The FBI is back in the building.
She changed
Change
the
the
codes
code.
because she's a hacker.
Those things seem unlikely.
She did
She,
all
like,
of this
stuck her
for...
hand
She's a,
into the.
like, I'm not doubting her intelligence, but she's a social worker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Not an engineer.
Why
And
would-
she did all of that from inside of the room, not in
There
the
should be.
control
It
room.
seems like there should be an out of the room fail safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, she actually threw us her shoes.
And And here we have the ending of 7.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, this is why I get scenes from these movies confused sometimes because a lot of them are really similar.
Yep, and here we have another dissolve.
Good dissolve here.
And now we're in a K-pop or a J-pop music video.
This has, once again, a super cool transition coming up.
Yeah.
It's so bright. Oh, my God. Kid's going to walk into a tree. You won't be able to see.
Dunk.
Yeah.
It's the snow from Elf.
What? Can you imagine this whole movie with little Anakin as
That would be
Jake
great.
Lloyd.
yeah, Jake Lloyd? Yeah.
That looks really bad to me. They keep cutting to her like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This first
Like-
half of the scene, I don't
Ugh.
like how it's shot. I don't like how it's lit. I don't like how it's colored.
It seems like that's some of the worst green screen we've seen.
Yeah. I mean, I get that it's supposed to be like.
This weird frame thing.
Yeah.
Tell me your confession, child.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's very religious.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, she was looking at the prayer card and she
Right.
got inspiration from that, but still, like, it's like they went overboard with it and it just ended up looking really washed out and forced.
Yeah. Like someone turned the beauty filter on to 10.
Right.
Yeah.
So
on
if
camera.
this scene was done today, I would like to have replaced this weird border effect with something in the environment.
Yeah, just a bunch of like
Yeah.
plants and flowers and
Right.
such are like around this
Like
little
ivy
Yeah,
and
yeah.
dais that she's
vines or
sitting on.
something, yeah.
And when it starts to go dark
Yeah.
soon, like
And
Like
they
everything
would
everything
have
wilts.
died. Like
Like
I was
shrivel
waiting
and
for all
die.
these things to die and
Yeah.
all these gold things to turn into like thorns or whatever.
I mean, they kind of do.
Well, no, they kind of like retract
Yeah,
away,
yeah.
but they don't do the full like
Yeah,
dramatic
like a full
shift.
dramatic death.
Yeah, like I was expecting like, oh, like he was taking like kind of how they can influence one another's dreamscape or whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it. Just I don't know, maybe like unrealized potential, I suppose.
So
But also
this-
technological limitations.
right. And once again, Carl tying back to a traumatic experience with water.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now the border is retreating.
Yeah. Well, he's asking her to kill him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Now,
Here comes
Stop it.
spooky things.
bunch of good 8-legged boys.
Ugh. Anything over
this
that
is-
many legs,
yeah,
it's an abomination.
this is just again the music is so ominous, and I
Yeah.
like how everything washes out.
Here comes the
The
cape.
palette switch. This is so cool. The
Yeah.
entrance into the pool here.
Yeah.
Very Lord of the Rings with the soundtrack.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it looks like creepy snakeskin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this whole emerging scene is
Mhm.
bananas.
Mhm.
Good cape.
And the nip chain,
Mhm.
nip bar.
And then this
Yeah.
out of nowhere, but still effectively creepy.
Yep.
And he's like, and Tornado Man.
Yeah.
He's a level 30 barbarian in Diablo 2. He's got Whirlwind.
The information came from Normad. He says, don't fuck it up.
Can I smoke in here?
We love you, Zaytan.
We're gonna sacrifice this baby and get a bunch of coke. Go listen to our episode on Get Even to get these jokes.
This is also what I look like in high school.
That's a cool cut.
And
I
first
love
couple
that
years
cut.
of college. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
that's
but I
why.
also look like that through at least 1 to 1.5 years of college.
Those two quick cuts from a moment ago are great. When he's in completely different, just creepy poses.
Mhm.
Love it.
He looks a lot like
Kate Beckinsale
Kate
from
Beckinsale
Underworld.
From,
Yeah.
No, from Van Helsing. Or who's in Van Helsing?
It's Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The not, like Ryan said, the not underworld movie. I would have liked if it would have come over the hill and there's just like a little, you see in the distance, there's just her little cage.
Right.
Like in the middle
Oh,
of
God.
Careful, he gets off on that.
Way to kink shame.
Oh.
Water bad.
Yeah.
Pshoo.
Grain Co.
The entire time I saw that outside of this farm, I thought it was the farm from Logan.
It looks a lot like it, actually, at times. Which, see that if you haven't. That was an excellent movie.
I was honestly surprised how good of a movie that was.
Yeah,
like
for
I
sure.
heard it was good,
Yeah.
but super good.
Those teeth are awful.
Yeah.
It was all bloody and the lighting is weird.
Hello, lady?
Knock once.
Knock once if you're alive and twice if you're dead.
Wait, how many times does Grandpa tell Bart to tug the rope if he's
Um,
alive? Tug 63 if
60,
you're alive,
60,
64
yeah.
if you want to come. No, 63 if you're out of air, 64 if you found the treasure.
Yeah. Yeah. Flying hellfish.
Twisting the blade.
Twisties. Twisty goose.
Me God, boy. That doesn't make any sense, that line.
I think it just means they're the same person.
Yeah.
I think that's been established already by the when she stabbed him with the dildo.
Mm-hmm. Don't give up, buddy.
Shucks. She's
Because it's
big
corn?
open room.
Because there's corn everywhere? Is that why shucks?
No, they don't grow corn in large quantities in California, right?
Whatever, it looked like corn.
Well, well, well. Look at you, Mr. Harvest Moon and or Stardew Valley.
Know your agricultural outputs of your states, Ryan. Come on.
Yeah, definitely.
Wait. Okay. So yeah, Michigan is actually number 2 in most varied crops in the nation. Only number 1 being California.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
It's because those goddamn avocados.
Yes, that one other plant is making them more.
Don't mind me, I'm just salty about California.
For several reasons, probably.
Well, I mean, yeah. But I went on an LA vacation, and LA is just weird.
I do
Yeah.
like that she cuts back and she's now in her
Yeah.
Virgin Mary outfit again.
As opposed to her crossbow dominatrix.
Yeah. Her huntress outfit.
Yes.
Is
I'd
it?
be even more impressed people get that one.
Is she?
Are you behind the locked door?
In dimly lit hallway. Stay with me here, innocent boy. Fragment of serial killer's memory. I'm sure that will go fine.
Yeah.
Now we're white and pure again.
She's going to try the bright method of healing, which is just dunk someone in water.
Light therapy is a real thing, and I'm just like, goddamn hippies.
The movie Bright. That's what I was referencing.
So he
I
spends.
knew that's what you were talking about,
Yes.
but apparently it's also a real thing.
Yeah, like to get rid of
I don't
SAD.
think she cares if you're FBI.
Oh, she's holding her nose there.
Yeah.
She is. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, she's gone onto some air tube or something.
No, but Ryan pointed out that she's actually, in reference to what Claire was talking
Yeah.
about.
Oh no, I noticed that, but like they made a cut that there was like a tube
Yeah,
or
she, like,
something
found-
up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is what? Is it only 6 feet you can actually blow air up and out? Be able to breathe?
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
It's a good question.
I believe it's that.
Valentine.
Valentine just destroys Catherine right now.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
All right, drowning lady. Clearly the bullets are working, so I'm going to keep shooting.
Yeah.
She looks in agony in that one scene where she has to be underwater and not holding her nose.
Mm-hmm.
I like this
Yeah.
scene. I think that they filmed that really well.
Yeah.
Now everyone's electrocuted.
Yep.
Yeah.
No one needs to see Vincent D'onofrio's character orgasm in this movie. Again.
Again. That chick, for only speaking like, thrice in this movie, acts very well
Yeah.
otherwise.
Yeah.
Can you be frightened and underwater? If so, this
The
role...
job is yours.
Yeah.
We're at peace.
Yep.
The implied emotional blow here to Jennifer Lopez's character is heavy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I do kind of like the parallel scenes.
Yes,
Vince
that is-
Vaughn cradling her
Mm-hmm.
and J-Lo cradling the boy. I think that's a really
Above-
nice mirror.
And he's above the water with her. I like
Yeah.
that it's very clear on that.
Mhm.
Not that she would be below the water, but she's
Yeah.
very clearly, her whole body is above
Yeah.
the water.
Mhm.
Right. She sees him not breathing.
Muscle armor, jumpsuits.
She'd be really mad when the Evangelion shows
You
up.
can tell it's 2000 because of the square tip French
Oh,
manicure.
Yep.
Like I noticed that on Sunday, and it made me legitimately kind of angry.
Is that the most 90s makeup that makes you angry? Or the 90s makeup that makes you the most angry?
That's up there. Sperm eyebrows, where people
Oh.
overpluck the tails but leave the fronts really
Yep.
thick, so they look like little sperms.
Yep.
Huh.
I know what you're talking about.
That's one of my major 90s pet peeves.
People still do that, don't
Yeah,
they?
people do still do that, but it had a much greater prevalence in late 90s, early 2000s. Shimmery blue eyeshadow, which I was definitely a victim of.
Yeah. I like all these little callbacks to things you saw in the Dreamland.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly the
Yeah.
well, it gets
It's
great
coming
up,
focus
yeah.
once it comes. Yeah,
Right
there
there.
it is.
There it is. Yeah.
Testy twirly.
And Testy Twirly.
It's everyone's least favorite ride at the
Yeah.
I was
carnival.
literally just to say that.
He's like, well,
He's
yep,
like-
I'm going to take a walk.
Yeah. Time for some fresh air.
Well, I guess I'm gonna go back to being a prosecutor now.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, we're
FBI
gonna open
deals with
average
some shit
Joe's.
that's
Yeah,
too real.
that's what I
Yep.
said.
Yeah, of course, like J-Lo would be the one to keep the serial killer's dog.
Yep. Like I said, the dog is the real killer.
Yeah.
Also, ponchos. Remember ponchos?
Yeah.
Aw.
But the poncho.
This doesn't hurt you as much as it does us, but we had a hometown restaurant named Poncho's, and it burned down, and I miss it.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yep.
It was
Good Mex-
burned down.
Yeah, it was. I don't know
I
if
mean,
it was
those-
ruled as arson, but
It's the
like from
same.
the day it burned down, people are like, yeah, that was probably
Fire
arson.
took it away from us.
Yes.
You've got a patio.
And I
Yes,
like
and
that
it's amazing.
this conversation, she's like, oh, you're a civilian for a couple weeks, blah, blah. But they
Yeah.
still let him onto the crime scene, which
Yeah.
is definitely not protocol.
Nope.
Cops don't obey laws even when they're not cops.
Wow, 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 wow.
Max has thrown out the political.
Yeah.
Max is
Commentary.
It's
woke
been a week.
today. Max is woketh.
He who is woketh.
We got hit on you a
Has
little bit.
focus.
Nice. Well, I'm just gonna go get mega rich on some albums and insure the lower half
Yeah.
of my body for $2 billion.
Yep.
Drug fueled mind bender. This isn't a Jodorowsky film.
Good old detective work.
You kind of did though.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like,
Actually, yeah.
look at this
I
table.
mean, you had to connect the symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I
it
wonder.
was just a table?
Yeah.
So I wonder, Claire, on the version that you watched, did you watch it with subtitles on Google? The reason I ask is because the timing is a little off.
I did not watch
Like
the
the-
subtitles.
The text comes a little bit before it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Hey, jokes.
Wah, 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 wah.
Just swarm all the cops and start eating them.
Yeah.
I'm just hitting them with rulers.
Do, 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 do.
Boat.
Have any of you guys seen The Fall?
I have
No.
not.
Mm-mm.
I swear that Tarsum uses the same exact little, like, couple trees in the desert with characters, like, meeting around them. It's, yeah. Yeah. Mother would not give me penny candy for chocolate.
It looks like the film grain has improved significantly in this last
Yeah, it
scene.
really does.
Yeah, it does. Like this actually looks modern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Amazon?
Yeah.
It's brooding
hold on.
small child.
Show the boy again. Does he have a fake belt on?
A fake belt.
Was
Hey,
it
Tommy
fake?
Wiseau? Interesting, though, I just know that she brought in, like, the big, long tapestry from Carl's dreams into her own, like, dreamscape.
Yeah, but it was,
Rather than, like, make water, she's like, I'm going to have a very long blue shawly scarfy
But I mean,
thing.
like,
Yeah.
he has an issue with water too.
Oh,
this
yeah,
kid,
'cause
he's
he
by
has
the-
that-
yeah,
he
he's
has
by the
same
water.
thing.
Is where they
Yep.
found him, yeah.
Yep, with the seals and whatever.
Yeah, so she brought in fake water so he could go sailing and not have it be water.
Right.
All right.
I like that Valentine's name actually
It's
is Tim. Tim the dog.
Yep. Very inspiring name for a dog. Okay. That pretty much wraps up another episode of Good Brews Bad Views. Thank you all for joining us. But before we go, as always, view again, brew again. Let's start with Ryan today.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Yeah, I'll start with brew again. Not much more to say beyond my initial assessment here. It's good, and I mean I drank it very easily.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing here that's gonna bring me back to what was the name again? Once you
Gose
Gose
Black.
It was a black.
And I do love Ascension, I really do. But this one's not doing anything special for me as far as the Gose or just overall as a beer. The movie, yes, I love this movie. I am gonna definitely order this on Blu-ray so I can watch it and it not look terrible for 98% of the movie. It's something that I liked a lot when I saw it the first time, but coming back and watching it again, I just really love a lot of the visual creativity that went into this movie. Again, lots of style. It's, Jennifer Lopez is clearly not inept at acting in this movie. She does a good job. And Vince Vaughn kind of waffles a little bit between being, a believable character in this movie and just kind of being wooden a bit. But
He doesn't really do a lot.
Yeah. But there's enough. There's a lot going on here. It's very disturbing. It's unsettling. A lot of stuff that really draws me into a movie if it can make me feel uncomfortable in the ways that this movie does. I very much like this movie, and I will absolutely watch it again, for sure.
All right. I'll go next. As far as the beer goes, yeah, I enjoyed the beer. I think it's a good, just like, I'm going to have a beer. I'm not going to, you can throw a couple of these back all day. I'd maybe like to have it a little bit, maybe in the, well, I guess it is pretty warm today. We're in a very balmy
what the
60
heck?
degrees for February.
All the snow is melted.
Yeah.
It's still cold.
Yep.
Whatever.
Thank you. No, I orange isn't the flavor I've had in a Gose, and especially I haven't had a Gose that was like dark like this, which would imply some heavily roasted malts, which doesn't really have that maltiness or roastiness that you associate with those darker kind of styles.
See, and I think, sorry to interrupt, but I think
I interrupted you, so go ahead.
I think if some of those did start to bleed through in this beer, I would like it more.
Okay,
I think that
can
would
see
make it more unique to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, like we had that chocolate orange stout from Southern Tier at James's birthday.
Right.
Eels furnished by Chip Matheson. Thanks, Chip.
Thanks. Yeah, those are some good.
Couldn't have
eels.
done it without you, Chip.
Cheers, Chip.
As far as View again, no. This movie is very, very interesting visually, but it's not a movie I'm gonna sit and ponder over like some other very visually interesting movies that I've watched. I'm not condemning like the visual style of this because I very much do enjoy it, but it kind of gets samey, or I've gotten my fill of what this movie has to offer visually after 2 viewings of it within a week or whatever. So, I do enjoy the director Tarsem Singh. I think he makes very visually distinct movies, but a lot of his movies I'm not looking to watch more than once or twice because they just kind of like, they kind of just fall flat. Like Immortals, very distinct visual style, mildly interesting story that I think kind of was made because of the success of 300, but I'm not looking to watch that again anytime soon, despite the interest I have in the visuals of it. Jennifer Lopez, I think, did a great job for the role she was in. Vince Vaughn just plays like John Copman. And Vincent D'onofrio, I think, is suitably creepy.
Oh, for sure.
And is still able to act in all of his various forms.
Incarnations,
so,
yeah.
Exactly. So, I can't... It's not a... This movie's not bad, or I think this movie's bad, but it's just... It's there. Like, it's a movie I have known has existed since 2000, but for one reason or the other, I never had gone out to look for it, as I had said earlier. James, what about you?
To piggyback on that, this movie kind of occupies the uncanny valley for me. It's not good enough that I would want to seek it out and watch it again, but it's not bad enough that I would watch it because it's like fun to watch.
Okay.
Visually, it's one of the most interesting movies I've ever seen, and if I was looking for inspiration or just kind of want to experience those sequences again, I'd go back to them. But I'd go back to those sequences that I want to see. I don't see
the whole thing again.
Yeah, I don't see myself sitting down and watching the movie because I'm just not that hyper invested in the plot of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's a little bit deeper than what you first see on the first viewing, because you pick up on a lot of stuff on the second viewing that you didn't see the first time. But I don't see myself seeking the movie out. From a Brew Again standpoint, I'll say this: I really liked this on the way down, but it's sitting really heavy with me. So I don't know that I would seek this one out either. So
okay.
I guess I'm a double no today.
That's not often we've done that, actually.
No.
Negative Nancy.
Usually one or the other is.
Yeah,
Debbie Downer over
I really
here.
like the way that it tastes, but it's just sitting super heavy with me for whatever reason.
You also just ate like an entire table full of appetizers.
Yeah, but I can eat garbage and usually feel decent for a couple hours.
Fair enough. And last but certainly not least, Claire.
Beer, yeah, I'm into it. Would I purposely search it out? Probably not. If someone had some and offered it to me, definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I wouldn't turn this away.
No,
I
yeah.
would not turn it away in any way, shape, or form. Would I actively seek it out, or run and tell everyone, hey, you have to try this beer I had? No, but I mean, it was easy to drink. It was pretty tasty. Interesting enough that it was good to drink, but not so interesting that I was obsessed with it. View Again. I mean, I think I have like an emotional connection to this movie, kind of weirdly.
Yeah, I'm in that same
of
boat
how
for
young
sure.
I saw it. I think what they did with the visuals and everything was great. I pulled a Max and made a little note before as I watched this movie on Sunday. The budget for this was only $33 million.
Yeah, and it made over 100. So financially, great
a huge success. But I'm surprised that they were able to get all of those visuals in and the relatively well-known stars that they did for that budget. Because I mean, at this point, J-Lo was doing blockbuster movies. Like they were chick flicks, but they were super high grossing movies, and she was in super high demand to do all these movies. So I think that the effects they did with those constraints were great.
I mean, thinking back about the movie we just watched, not a lot of the effects were CG. A lot of them are very heavy makeup, or very elaborate sets, or maybe some matte paintings, but
but even that costs money.
Well, even that costs money, but it's not, like the 150 million plus that we associate with like heavy, like today when you say like heavy effects movies, those movies are upwards of 150 million. Yeah. And horror movies are known for having very small budgets, so you'd have to think like, what was the budget of Get Out? Like what, $3 million, $5 million?
Maybe five.
It wasn't much.
It wasn't much. So I mean,
there were also
there weren't any really effects of that.
Super minimal.
But so I think even Freddy vs. Jason I have written down here. Let me flip back here.
Well, he's flipping. I'll keep talking.
Well, yeah. Well, he's control effing.
Yeah. A lot of this movie to me is forgettable, which is why I think I confuse it so often
with Seven
and with other psychological thrillers. Like I'll think of a scene and I won't be able to place exactly which movie it's from. And I think that is in part that they do put style over substance. I don't really remember a lot of the ways the plots fit in, even, if it's only been a year since I've seen the movie. I've watched this movie relatively recently in the past 2 or 3 years, and I still get the scenes confused. But like I said, psychological thrillers are my favorite genre of movie. So even though this one is definitely in the lower echelon of the psychological thriller movies I've seen, I still appreciate it for what it is. But I am kind of in James's boat where it's not so good, I want to watch it again, but it's not so bad that I'm gonna seek it out and like hate watch it.
Yeah. So going back to to Freddy vs. Jason, which came out 2004, 2005, $30 million budget, made $115 at the box office, which I think it was second highest grossing Friday the 13th and highest grossing Nightmare on Elm Street movie to date. Thinking about, the visuals, I mean, I'm sure for 2000 this was a lot.
This was bananas.
Bananas, yeah. And thinking about it, I don't know if it's because of the dreamscape aspect of the film, but we go through these so many different like variations or sequences in the dream. There's not a lot connecting a lot of them, so they seem very disjointed.
They are very disjointed.
Like at the very very end, Vincent D'onofrio's last form is like the snake person. Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. He has like the nipple bar, which that makes sense with some of the other masochistic things we've seen him go through, but there's, I don't know. I try to look for some kind of deeper understanding.
You're looking for some seeds that led to the
right? In some because of how many flashbacks there were and things we saw from his memories that would make sense to why they're showing up in his nightmares or dreams or whatever. Like that kind of plays into like, here's why you're seeing this, here's why you're seeing that. But a lot of the stuff is like, here's snakes for some reason.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's
like at the very, very end, you found that little piece of art where the guy is getting his intestines pulled out. That makes sense why that scene was there.
Yeah.
But for like the horns sequence or the snake, I don't know why.
And I think for me, because there's so many scenes where like the symbolism is like so obvious and so hitting you over the head that you start looking for it in pretty much every other scene.
Yeah.
And when there's really no connection to that, and like anything else kind of either symbolic or something in his past or something in his weird dungeon, blah 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 blah, it gets frustrating.
Yeah.
Because they're so good at connecting things that the couple very blatant obvious things they don't connect almost kind of ruin it for me.
Yeah, it's sort of like, okay, what is that? I mean, not to say like that I don't enjoy like some of those scenes, but it's just
I want them to mean
breaking
something
the immersion
because
kind
it's
of.
it's all in this guy's subconscious, so everything should mean something.
Mm-hmm.
So the things that don't obviously mean something, it's like, come on, like do something. Give me a throwaway line that connects it. I don't even care.
Exactly. Like just like that card was enough to be like, okay, yep, that explains that entire torture sequence. And I think with a lot of all the other like dream media, Inception, Nightmare on Elm Street, where all these images and symbolisms have some tie back to the real world, we're able to associate one with the other, or just our understandings of how dreams supposedly work, ? Like, we've kind of come to expect that the real is influencing the internal. So, but, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure everyone here has had dreams where they can't really explain.
Right. And I
guess
guess
I that he was a sociopath.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of half my slant on it, too, is that definitely there are some things that are clearly connected to real-world experiences that Carl has had. But to me, I remember when I watched this the first time and, watching it again for the show, I kind of take some of the things that don't appear to have any real impetus from real life as far as Carl, just being that he is so broken mentally and just so gone that he's crazy enough to just make this up on his own.
Yeah.
Like, he's so absolutely psychotic that these are the things that he just creates on his own, in his own world, without any other influence. That's just an angle that I took away from it.
I think that definitely has merit. But the fact that they go so in depth, like into his childhood and kind of what has helped
like
shape him into
how
this,
water is prevalent and throughout the entire movie. And
they're really good at linking what has made him so damaged that when they although he is psychotic enough to create something, it kind of bums me out that they don't give you some sort of reference for that.
And there's water in almost every scene that he's in the dream world, because there's the snake one at the end that's pretty clear.
There's snake in the water.
Yeah, when he's doing the handstand, he's actually in water during that scene.
Yeah.
The only time
he washes his hands during the torture scene.
Yeah. So actually,
every scene he's in is involved with water in some way.
Yeah, in some way. And then you've got snakes, water snakes, and then eels show up when Jennifer Lopez is in the closet. And I don't know, maybe
he's washing dishes too.
Yeah. Interesting.
But it's a little less prevalent with young Carl, because I don't think in the scene with the horse there's water.
Right.
No, I think that I don't think it's required there. I think that's supposed to just be a subversion of the first time you see Jennifer Lopez, she's riding a horse. Or her stunt double is riding a horse. And
yeah, that's interesting.
And it's this is not what you think it is.
So I want to circle on a couple of things. So you, Max, I think it was you that mentioned, whoever it was, maybe that's the thing that she brings into the dreams to try and just use as like a comfort tool or whatever. Yeah. And it's not the case, I don't think, because in the opening of the movie she thanks Edward for giving her the horse. Yeah. So it was something he provided. But anyway, but if the movie was implying that the horses are a tool that Jennifer Lopez uses, the scene where she meets young Carl for the first time and she has a horse, if we are to assume that that's one of J-Lo's tools, that scene is actually a lot more powerful then, because she's brought this horse, something that she uses to try and help people with, and then Carl pushes her out of the way and the horse immediately gets destroyed. It's kind of like the movie saying, hey, the things that you're used to using to help you out are no good here. Like it's not going to work again.
That's what I'm thinking of. It's,
right. That's
it's sort
interesting.
of the manipulative way of thanking someone for something that you yourself provided.
Mm-hmm.
Of being like, oh, thank you for this, and it's actually like, oh no, I have done this. I'm making you feel worth and comfort based off of me giving the perception that you are helping me when I am actually using this as a tool to influence you.
I actually really like that angle for that scene now with the horse. That's interesting.
So, like, if it wasn't the first thing, I'd be like, okay, yeah, maybe it was.
Mm-hmm. And
again, that's one of those things like, oh, we have no other
but I guess
link to it. like as
She
horse is part of
seems
his life.
genuinely surprised to see the
Oh,
horse.
yeah.
I mean, and she does specifically say, "Thank you for the horse, but we were supposed to go sailing."
Right.
Mm.
So I think, I mean, it's an interesting way to look at it. Do I necessarily think that's what they were going with? No, but if you frame it that way, does
Yeah.
it make that scene more interesting? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of, your own personal viewpoint of reliable versus unreliable narrator.
And it's cool, and it's a really short scene, kind of midway through the movie, where J-Lo's trying to get to sleep, right? And she's dreaming about Edward,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So
The creepy
clearly
seal, Edward.
there has been some influence back into her that's been traumatic.
Yeah.
That maybe Carl was able to see some shades of that. I don't know.
And you have
it's
to wonder,
interesting.
kind of like as an epilogue to this movie, like
What
how
happens
was
to her?
how was her life affected after doing this? Like
oh,
obviously
it can't be great.
had a happy ending because she was able to pull him into her mind and kind of like put him
Give him
finally
the
quote
peace.
unquote at peace. But I mean, she saw some traumatic shit. Like she went
Oh,
through
yeah.
some traumatic shit. Like that can't be good for. I mean, like that's probably why she smoked so much weed so she can go to bed. Like
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and they just leave the whole Edward plot line like dangling in the
hanging,
breeze.
I mean, the movie, at least to me, seems to imply that the entire episode with Carl
Has helped her be
has
a better
equipped her
therapist, yeah.
more readily to deal with Edward. Right?
It's like walk in the park. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're not attacking me as a snake person.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just a seal person.
It's just a seal boy. Bat boy!
Okay, well I think we've beat this dead horse enough.
Have we sliced it?
Hey. Okay. So, Claire, where can people find you online if you want them to find you?
Yeah, I'm always findable online. I think I'm still the only Claire Higginbottom on Facebook in America. There's some in England, but I think I'm the only one in America. Instagram and Twitter, I am Claire #2 the Max, so Claire #2 the Max. It's my 7th grade screen name that has lasted through all these years,
Oh.
and multiple usernames and gamer tags.
Fantastic.
But yeah, follow me. That'd be cool. Whatever. I'm around.
What else?
And as always, please follow us.
Please don't send me dick pics.
Oh, no, do not do that to our friend Claire. Please follow us on, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We're now on Google Podcast.
Yeah,
Google
thanks,
Play.
Max.
Yeah. Just making a bigger net.
Yeah.
Please rate and review us and subscribe on iTunes. We're on PodBean, WordPress. I think that's it for the time being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
anything else you guys have to add?
No, just
Yeah.
if you are listening, the 1 or 2 people, and you are having fun with the show, maybe pass it on to someone. See if they like it too.
Yeah.
We like sharing our experiences. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
fun.
Send us your hate mail and recommendations.
And
at
the
Yes.
more
Good Brews
episodes
Bad
they have,
Views
the better
at
chance that I
gmail.com.
will be back on. So, I mean...
We've already got your next episode.
Show's
lined
done.
up.
Never again.
Yeah, apparently there's already another episode planned.
You literally asked, being like, "Oh
I-
my gosh!"
I know. I'm trying to be coy about it, Max. I'm trying to bring the people in, give them what they want, give you another highly downloaded episode.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's it for today's episode. And as always, please watch
And drink.
responsibly.
Good night.
Yay.
Bye.
There he is. He's still here.